Hello there, and welcome to my channel, Flat Earth Ally. Thanks for tuning in to the very first episode. My name is Jacqueline, and I'll be your host. If you haven't read the channel description, I can tell you a little bit about it. I'll be making weekly posts on Fridays with a monthly theme for each month, obviously. Um, my videos will kind of be like flat earth adjacent. I'm not somebody who's going to be putting out proofs, which I think are great. And it's not going to be limited to flat earth. I love how a lot of flat earth videos are definitely have branched out in the last 2 years and don't just talk about flat earth. There's a lot of other interesting conspiracy truths and ideas out there. And I'll be exploring kind of my ideas on some of those. And mostly, maybe not mostly, but a significant part of what the Flat Earth Ally channel will be is kind of building relationships with people who are not flat earthers. Myself included. I'm not a flat earther. My husband is. He was not when we were first together. He has been before we got married. We'd been dating almost 2 years, I think. Um, before maybe 3 years. 3 years? No, two. It doesn't matter. Uh, before he came across Flat Earth, and he waited a few months before he told me. And when he told me, um, I feel like it's like a lot of people who everybody who comes to Flat Earth is like, oh no, this can't be true. This is ridiculous. But whatever, he showed it to me, and I quickly came around to the idea that it's plausible. For me, I don't subscribe to the necessarily the flat Earth model, but I also know that the globe is a hoax. Um, and maybe I'll talk about kind of my own idea later on, but I'll hold that information for now. Uh, a flat Earth ally. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is somebody who is not a flat earther, but who in a way is a flat earth sympathizer, I suppose. It's somebody who loves or is friends with, you love your friends, so yeah, loves someone who is a flat earther, or is somebody who is willing to let people who are mocking flat earthers know that a flat earther is not somebody who's necessarily crazy. I'm not saying if you are a flat earther, that means you can't be crazy. But I think in a lot of ways it makes you less likely to be. Um, it's somebody who is going to be your friend and support you in your flat earthness. For me and my husband, it is kind of a role that I do play in our relationship because without me, he would go mad watching hours and hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos on flat earth and other conspiracy type things from the moment he goes home, gets home and goes to bed. And there would be nobody who is there to kind of pull him back out of that rabbit hole. I think that's an important role to have somebody, even if they're also another flat earther, but somebody who can say like, hey, you need to take a step back from this because it's not at a healthy level. You're overly obsessed. Uh, that's a dish of the gist of what a what a flat earth ally is. And I hope that if you don't have one in real life, I can kind of help you feel connected in that way, and that this channel is a safe space for. Sorry, I just used one of those words. Um, This channel can be a welcoming place for flat earthers to come and interact with not flat earthers and other flat earthers and me, and that you enjoy yourself and enjoy some of the content that I provide. Who am I? Oh, that's a good. Why do you care? Um, you may recognize me. I went to the Flat Earth International Conference 2018. Almost said this year, but it's 2019. In Denver with my husband Kyle. So if you remember Kyle and Jacqueline, sometimes we were together wearing coordinated outfits. So you may have seen us and recognize me. And if you do, feel free to. Sorry, the light. There's too much light from the window. Um, Feel free to let me know in the comments so I can say hi to you. Um, I had a great time there, by the way. Oh, if you've seen some of the karaoke videos, I'm in one. I sang a flat earth rendition of a James Taylor song. So that is me. You can find it on Zulu One's channel. Maybe I'll put a link. Um yeah, so who am I? I'm just sort of a normal person who has been introduced to flat earth, don't hate it, like it. Not I don't have to believe in it to like it. But what I love about flat earth is that it does bring up all of these other things. It is an umbrella or a doorway to like really understanding how much of the world you think you know may not be what you think you know. Probably isn't. Um, so that's a, I feel like that's a big statement for some people. It was for me. So I live in Oregon. If you guys didn't meet me at the conference, which I'm, if you're watching this, you probably didn't. Maybe you didn't even go. But if you did, I hope you had as good a time as we did. And maybe I'll put some pictures that I took into a video in the future. Um, so, other than being interested in flat Earth and flat Earth adjacent topics, I am managing our small farm in Eastern Oregon. Uh, Kyle and I have two dogs. We have four ish outside cats. They act as uh, mouse hunters, gopher. They save our garden from gophers. Um, and I'm interested in being and showing people how to be more independent when it comes to your own survival, not just survival, but your own well being and providing for yourself and your family the things that the government wants you to be dependent on them for. So that's part of why we have a garden. Uh, we also provide food for our local area, which is much healthier than the stuff that you can find at Safeway, which 85% of the time is the only option people have here where we are, where it's rural. Um, and if you don't grow food, there's not a lot of options. We, in perspective, have two people approximately per square mile in our county, and we are outnumbered by livestock. I think like 20 to 1, maybe more. I'll have to look it up again. But there's about 7,000 people in the county, and I think 200,000 just cattle. It's not even including like pigs and horses and goats and sheep. And there's tons of those too. So You do the math. There's at least double whatever I just said for cattle: 200,000, 400,000, 7,000 people, 400,000 livestock animals. About that. I haven't lived here my whole life. Grew up in Massachusetts. Went to college in upstate New York. Um, Moved to Portland before moving out here. And so I get it. And I've come from the other end of the spectrum, for sure, of being growing up in New England to where I am now. And a lot of my family doesn't understand it. So I understand that kind of feeling of isolation when it comes to having different ideas than most of your friends and your family and the mainstream narrative. Okay. Moving on, I suppose. Why have I made this channel? I was inspired to make this channel when I was at the Denver conference. A lot of the panels kept coming up like about relationships and what you do with people you care about who don't get flat earth, and how you introduce them to them, and how you still have a relationship with people who won't subscribe or are too, at the present time, too brainwashed, for lack of a better word, to understand your point of view without ridiculing it or blah blah blah, whatever. Seems to be a lot of fear for single people who are looking for a long-term partner, and how to do that in a world that does not currently accept the status of a flat earth, or that even that thought of a flat earth. And there's a lot of people who are in the closet in their relationship. And so that really made me want to do this, because it's something that I do know about, and I know about it from the other perspective, from the person who is not the flat earther. And there are things that when my husband came out about being a flat earther, I wish he could have done better. If I had been a different person, like, and not so compassionate and understanding a person, I definitely would have been turned off, and maybe have even ended things. And I want to help people who, my dog just walked in, um who are going through that, or are trying to get to the point where they're going through that in their relationships, so that they can avoid damaging a relationship that could be and has been good for them. I also really like the whole conspiracy truths. I'm trying not to say conspiracy theory, that's a loaded term. So conspiracy truths, to me, truths and ideas, is better. Um, there's a lot of those things that I really like. Um, and I love that spirit of always questioning things and being skeptical without being pessimistic. And so, Kyle running by the entrance to my door of the office. So I think I can share those things with people from my own unique perspective, and hopefully that is helpful to people in some way, to have a sharing point. And I really want people to feel like they can comment things, and I will read them. I'll read them all, unless there's like hundreds of thousands of them, which I doubt. But I want you to be here, feel comfortable here, and be able to come here for someone who listens to you without needing to have your same opinion. And I'm going to hold that I expect to have, live chats at some point. I'm going to hold that to people who comment that you, regardless of where you are on the is it flat, is it not status, or other conspiracy topics, you need to be a person who is a listener and not just somebody who is going to yell their opinion and ridicule somebody else for having a different one. You need to come here with the idea that you have an open mind and not in the ironic sense where you think you have an open mind that it's so open it's come all the way around to being a shut. I think that's about it for this video. I was going to introduce the topic. I guess I will. Introducing the topic for this month is going to be um, resolutions, because that's just what everybody does in January. And in the next video, I'll kind of talk about the pros and cons. And in the following videos, I'll kind of go into my own resolutions that I think will be similar to a lot of yours. And hopefully, that'll give us some common ground to start a conversation. I want to thank you again for watching my very first episode. And if you like this, or if you're interested in seeing what's next, please comment with your resolutions. Comment with if let me know if you went to the Denver conference and how you felt about it. Um, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button if you want YouTube to tell you when my next video is. But it's going to be Fridays, released at 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. my time. So, yeah, thanks one more time for joining me, and tune in next week for the next Flat Earth Ally.